Buongiorno cari amici e benvenuti. My name is Giovanna and I welcome you all to my kitchen on the cliff. Today we're going to make something very special from the region of Emilia-Romagna. We're going to make Malfatti. Now Malfatti means badly made. Well, that is not a reflection on this wonderful dish. Malfatti are made from the filling that is usually made for tortelli, which is a kind of ravioli from Emilia-Romagna. So if you don't feel like making the dough and making the tortelli, then you can simply take the filling, shape it into balls, and you make what they call malfatti. There's nothing malfatti about it at all, and they are delicious. This recipe can be found in my book, The Cooking of Emilia-Romagna, which, if there is enough interest, will be reissued in a new edition this coming spring. We fell in love with malfatti on our honeymoon a long time ago. During our honeymoon, we went to visit our very, very dear friends Isabella and Mark Musa in Emilia-Romagna. It was love at first sight. We just fell in love with it and we've been having it ever since. You'll notice my beautiful apron with all the fresh ingredients that I use all the time. I have to tell you that it's a very special gift from my cousins in Lucca, Carolina, Alfredo, Silvia e Costantino. Bacioni a tutti in famiglia. So, the ingredients for this wonderful dish are spinach, of course, fresh ricotta, grated parmigiano, freshly grated, an egg, and nutmeg, and a little bit of flour. Let's begin by preparing the spinach. I bought fresh spinach. The way you prepare the spinach is you want to strip it, right? So you simply take it in your left hand, and with your right hand, you take off the stem. Now, if you buy baby spinach, you don't have to do that. For this recipe, you will need 2 10-ounce bags of spinach. If it's regular spinach, you make sure that it has no stems. If it's baby spinach, you can just use it directly. You can also make this recipe successfully with frozen chopped spinach. Follow the package directions and then follow what I do because the procedure is the same whether they're fresh spinach or frozen spinach. Now let's go over to the stove and steam our spinach. This is my steamer. The water's on the bottom and I'm going to turn it on to bring it to the boil. Meanwhile, I'm going to take the spinach and put it into a bowl of water. So we're going to take the spinach from the last rinse and put them into the steamer with whatever water they retain. You see, you can put quite a lot. Okay, we put the cover and we wait 3 minutes. Spinach, as you know, reduces to about nothing. All we want to do is steam it, not cook it through. So we'll give it another 3 minutes. You want to steam it 3 minutes, turn it over so that it steams evenly. Give it another 3 minutes, or of course until it's wilted. It has to be wilted. All right, now I'm going to remove the wilted spinach. See? Okay, we're going to let that drain and cool, and we're going to do the other half. By the way, you can do this the day before, an hour before, whenever you wish, because it has to be cold in order to make the malfatti. So you can do this ahead, so you don't have everything to do at the same time. Okay, here's that nice, huge amount of spinach, which of course will cook down. We put the cover, and we wait 3 minutes. Okay, I'm going to turn it. See, the bottom is already wilted. It's already gone down in volume. Of course, if you use baby spinach, it's going to steam a little faster. But just look at it, and when the volume has really decreased and the spinach is wilted, it's done. Okay, this is done. We'll add it to the colander. Right, now this has to cool. So we're going to let it cool, and then we're going to squeeze it, get most of the moisture out, and mix the malfatti. This is an important step because spinach retains a lot of water. Remember, we steamed it, so it retains water. So the spinach has been steamed, wilted, and cooled. Right? Now we can handle it. We're going to take spinach by the handful. Here it is. And we're going to squeeze it. You see? You see how much water it retains? Very important step. You would do the same thing if you were using frozen spinach. You have to squeeze the water out. Okay, done. I'm going to put it on a paper towel. You see how much liquid is coming out? Make sure that you really get all the water out. Don't be afraid. Squeeze it hard. Okay? Would you believe that even after you put it in a colander that you have that much water left? You see? This is a very crucial step. All right, I'm going to pat it with paper towels. We're really trying to get it as dry as possible. Okay, now we're ready to chop it. So we're going to turn it onto a chopping board. Okay, now we're going to chop it. Obviously, if you use frozen chopped spinach, you don't have to chop it any further. But this was not chopped. Okay, easy enough. Okay, now we're mixing the ingredients for the Malfatti. So we have this wonderful spinach. See, it's quite dry, right? I'm going to measure 2 cups. This is a 2-cup measure of this wonderful Italian deli ricotta. Now a word about ricotta. If you use the ricotta from the supermarket, at the very least, you're going to have to put it into a colander inside the refrigerator over a bowl, of course, overnight to dry it out. But this is really what you need to use because this is very dry ricotta. It's extremely flavorful and it has body. This is the proper ricotta to use. This is what I call Italian deli ricotta. And it can be used to make a dessert. It can be used to make cannoli. You can do all kinds of things with it. But for Malfatti, it is really very, very important that it be quite dry because moisture is the enemy of this dish. If you have a lot of moisture in the spinach, you will not get the desired results. Okay, I'm pushing it down to be sure that it fills the measure. I'm just giving it a little squeeze. Okay, so we're going to add the ricotta. Next, I'm going to add nutmeg. And this ancient grater that belonged to my grandmother has a little compartment. You see, this was the nutmeg that I used before, so I'm going to use it again. I'm doing it on the ricotta so you can see it. The nutmeg that is freshly grated is going to be very fragrant, okay? I'm adding 1 whole egg. Okay, listen, there is nothing better than your hands to do this. Of course, you know, you're washing your hands every few minutes anyway, so this is how this has to be done. So now I'm adding 1 cup of freshly grated Parmesan cheese, okay? All in there. I mean, this is a 3-ingredient dish, really quite simple. Okay, there's no way of really combining this well. You can't use a mixer. You can't use any kind of a machine. You need your hands. We just need to combine. When it looks like the ricotta and the spinach are evenly distributed, it's done. Okay, now I'm going to wash my hands and begin to shape the Malfatti. I'm going to put the flour in this dish. To make the Malfatti uniform, I like to use a scoop because then you already have a round shape and you don't have to handle it too much. Notice that there is no flour in the mixture. The mixture is only ricotta and spinach. These have to be cooked and eaten immediately, but you can do this step ahead, even several hours. Then put them in the refrigerator to firm up. You know, I have these scoops in different sizes, going from a very tiny one when I make little veal meatballs that I add to chicken broth, and then to like a full scoop if I'm making meatballs. But it's a nice way of proportioning these. We'll put these in the refrigerator for at least an hour before you boil them. The Malfatti have been in the refrigerator for an hour. Now we're going to boil them. So we're going to salt the water. So we didn't put any salt in the Malfatti because we have a lot of Parmigiano, which has its own salt, so we don't need salt in the Malfatti themselves. But we're going to salt the water. We're going to melt the butter. The sauce for the Malfatti is just melted butter and Parmigiano, which we put at the table. We're going to put them in the water, and there's no guessing about how long to cook them because they are done when they come to the surface. I just put them in one at a time, carefully, because these are very delicate. They go from here to the serving dish rather than putting them in a tureen or a serving platter, because they're very delicate and I want to handle them as little as possible. So we're going to put them directly into the serving dish. This is a perfect pan to do this because it has a small bottom, so you don't need a gallon of water, and a very, very large top surface. So it fits a lot of Malfatti. These are floating, yeah. These are all floating, see? You go underneath them and you pick them up. So I'm going to do 5 for a serving. Okay? Look at that, we have exactly, we didn't count them, but perfect. 2 tablespoons of butter for each serving. This is just melted butter, sweet butter, unsalted. Now you know how to make Malfatti. These are spinach and ricotta Parmigiano dumplings with a melted butter sauce. Simple, but exquisite. We add a pioggia di Parmigiano, a little shower of freshly grated Parmigiano, and let's see what memories it brings back.
Make them for your favorite guests.
Oh, yes.
We had them the first time back in 1963. We had a 6-week honeymoon in Italy and spent a full week in the province of Emilia, which many people claim to be the best eating in Italy. We spent a full week there, and that's where we had them for the first time. They are super. Buon appetito.
Buon appetito. They are as good as they were on our honeymoon, we must say. They are soft, they're creamy, they're buttery, they are totally delicious.
And they are really unforgettable. Thank you so much for watching. We're happy to introduce Malfatti to you. Do try to make them at home. Don't be intimidated by the unusual quality of them. Thank you for watching, and do not forget to subscribe.
Thank you for subscribing, and alla prossima volta. Ciao!
Ciao!